Hi future bureaucrats of India, welcome to LearnStroke IAS Crack Prelims 2023, a prelims test series discussion where the questions are completely sourced from current affairs, newspapers and magazines. So let's check the first question, here we go. Consider the following statements regarding the appointment of judges in India. This might be a polity question to many of you, but this came up in the newspaper. So that is why the High Court judges are recommended by a collegium comprising the Chief Justice of India and two senior most judges. Statement number 1. Article 217 of the Indian Constitution mentions the collegium system of concurrence. Okay. Third statement. If any question arises as to the age of a judge of a High Court, the question shall be decided by the President after consultation with the Chief Justice of India, and the decision of the President is final. Which of the following statements are right in this regard? 1 and 3, 1 and 2, 3 only, and 2 and 3. So which of the following statements are right? What is the answer? Let's check the answer. Statement number 1. High Court judges are recommended by a collegium, yes, comprising Chief Justice of India and two senior most judges. The statement is absolutely right. 217 of the Constitution mentions the collegium system of concurrence. False statement. Article 217 talks about the appointment of judges, but the collegium system of concurrence is not anywhere mentioned in the Constitution of India. It's just an invention of the Supreme Court. It's nothing to do with the Constitution. So statement 2 is wrong. So if you got statement 2, option D and B gets eliminated, and now it is 1 and 3 and 3 only. If a question arises to the age of the judge of a High Court, it shall be decided by the President or the Parliament. It is not the Parliament, it is the President, right? After consultation with the Chief Justice of India, absolutely right. And whether the decision of the President is final? Yes, the decision of the President is absolutely final. So what is the answer here? The answer here is 1 and 3 are right, and the second statement, the collegium system, is nowhere to be mentioned in the Constitution of India. So you know why this question was asked? Centre clears new Chief Justice for 5 High Courts, 6 High Courts to get the new Chief Justice. Centre notifies appointment of 8 new High Courts, 6 transferred. So these are some of the important news that came in the current affairs. So this is why appointment of judges becomes important to understand. And you can just see, according to 217, the President consults with the Chief Justice and 2 other members, and in case of appointment of a judge other than the Chief Justice of High Court, the Chief Justice of High Court is consulted. And it is initiated by Chief Justice of High Court and with the 2 senior most colleagues, and the recommendation is gone, it's gone to the Chief Minister, who advises the Governor to send the proposal to the Union Law Minister. So that is how the whole thing goes up. So anyways, this is important. Article 217 deals with the appointment of judges, and there is nothing called as a collegium system, is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution. So that's all about this. Let's move to the next important question. Second question. Here we go. The Pavagadh temple appeared in the news recently. Which of the following statements are correct regarding in this? So the Pavagadh temple appeared in the news. Which of the following statements in this regard are correct? 3 statements. 1. Gujarat ruler Sultan Mahmud Begda destroyed this temple. Sultan Mahmud Begda set up his capital in Champaner near Pavagadh after defeating the Hoysalas in the Battle of Uppercote. Second one, the Champaner Pavagadh Archaeological Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it contains a lot of landmark monuments and architectural marvels. Current affair question, which of the following are correct? 1 only, 2 and 3, 1 and 2, and 1 and 3. What is the answer? Let's check it out. Solve the question with me. First question. The Gujarat ruler Sultan Mahmud Begda destroyed the temple. Right or wrong? Absolutely right. Sultan Mahmud Begda destroyed this temple. Statement number 2. Sultan Mahmud Begda set up his capital in Champaner near Pavagadh after defeating the Hoysalas in the Battle of Uppercote. This statement is false. Sultan Mahmud Begda set up his capital in Champaner, correct. Near Pavagadh, correct. But he did not defeat the Hoysalas, he defeated the Rajputs. And the Battle of Uppercote is not with Hoysalas, he defeated the Rajputs, so statement number 2 is wrong. Champaner Pavagadh is an archaeological park, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, absolutely right. It has got a lot of monuments. So let's go to the answer. The answer was 1 and 3. 1 was right and 3 was right, and second statement was wrong. It was nothing to do with Hoysalas. You need to see, when such question comes, you need to see why Hoysalas, because the Rajputs, Hoysala, whether it is Shatavahana or Rashtrakutas or even Chalukyas, you need to have a timeline in history. When you study history, always do not remember the years, but definitely have a timeline idea. Okay, if this was the century, probably this kingdoms would have been ruling here. That is a timeline that you have to develop. So a small suggestion for that. Why this question was asked, you can see the Prime Minister Modi inaugurates a revamped temple destroyed by the 15th century Gujarat ruler, and the Pavagadh temple after 500 years carried the flag. So it is said that 15th century, 1458 to 1511, the ruler was Gujarat ruler Sultan Mahmud Begda. He had his kingdom in Pavagadh near Champaner, and the government of India is reconstructing and remodeling the temples in India. Just like the Somnath temple, which is located on the Saurashtra coast, is said to have been plundered by Mahmud of Ghazni, was restored after independence by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and just like that, this Pavagadh temple is now getting remodeled after almost 75 years. And you can see the impressive thing that Mr. Sultan Begda has constructed here is the Jama Masjid in Champaner. The Jama Masjid of Champaner. Such questions can be used for Indian culture. It's huge. It has got 172 pillars, 7 mihrabs, carved entrance gate, fine lattice, jali. Jali means it's a window, in the window where you have floral patterns in the window. So Jama Masjid in Champaner is also important, and this is also, Pavagadh is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So remember all this concept for Indian culture questions from current affairs. Moving on to the next important question. Consider the following statements regarding Mission Amrit Sarovar. Again a scheme. It proposes to transfer the excess floodwater from one state to the water scarce regions. That means transferring of waters. Second, the mission works through the states, districts through refocusing on various schemes like MNREGA or the Finance Commission, etc., 15th Finance Commission, etc. Which of the following statements are right? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, and neither 1 and 2. So Mission Amrit Sarovar, what is the answer in this? Statement 1, it proposes to transfer the excess floodwaters from the states to water scarce regions. Is the statement true? Absolutely false, because the statement 1 talks about the river water linking, or the linking of river waters, and the mission works through states and districts through MNREGA and Finance Commission. Statement 2 is right. So what is the answer? The answer was 2 only, and why this news came in the newspaper is because Mission Amrit Sarovar mission could boost infrastructure projects. And what is this Mission Amrit Sarovar? Something that we need to understand. What is this Mission Amrit Sarovar? Was created in 2022 with the aim of conserving water for the future. That means it has a mission to develop 75 water bodies in each district needs to be renovated. That means 75 water bodies in each district of the country as a part of the celebration Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So like that, it will create a rejuvenation of almost 50,000 water bodies in the total size of almost an acre. So 75 per district will create almost 50,000 rejuvenated water bodies in India. That is Amrit Sarovar mission. And each of this Amrit Sarovar will have an area of 1 acre with a water holding capacity of around 10,000 cubic meter. So whenever the Amrit Sarovars will be approved by the special Gram Sabhas, where the Panchayat Prathinidhi will supervise the development of Amrit Sarovar. It's a very good initiative to conserve water for the future. Just imagine 50,000 water bodies created, rejuvenated in India. Water security is a big time issue that we can solve from this. And it will supposed to be planned to be completed by 15th August, next 2023 Independence Day. Let's see what happens. And this was the important question. So read more about this and find out what is a Grama Sabha. What is a Grama Sabha? Why is Grama Sabha so important in the local self-government? Find out more on this. Moving on to the next important question. Which of the following releases Digital Economy Report? What is this Digital Economy Report? Who releases this? Typical UPSC question. Japan International Cooperation Agency, the JISA, European Institute of Gender Equality, United States Agency for International Development, And UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. This is again current affairs. What is the answer? Digital Economy Report is released by who? Let's check the answer. The answer was UNCTAD, or United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So why this came in the newspaper? Because petty patents can boost R&D. It talks about it also talks about global innovation, the WIPO's Global Innovation Index, GII, and UNCTAD in its Digital Economy 2021 report said this. This is why this is important. And what are we important to know about this? For a mains question, you should also know data and data protection is the new oil. People say that. So you need to know what is about data and digital governance, something about digital governance. And for a mains question, you can always prepare for what is data governance. What are the steps that we can take for data governance, and how can data security be a very important thing in this regard? And it also talks about ensuring equitable distribution of gains from data flows, and it also, there are many risks and concerns also. So know more about this data governance. And moving on to the last question of Crack Prelims 2023. Consider the following statements regarding India's pledge to achieve the target of net zero emissions. Okay, net zero emission is in the news, so you need to understand this. 3 statements, let's go. India is the 5th largest emitter of greenhouse gases in aggregate. Statement number 2, if the world does not reach net zero emission by 2050, the temperature will rise and will exceed the 1.5 degrees centigrades. Statement number 2. Statement number 3, India has pledged to achieve the target of net zero emissions by 2050. Which of the following statements are right? 1 only, 2 only, 3 only, and all the other statements. Is the statements right? Solve the answer. India is the 5th largest emitter of greenhouse gases. Is this right? No, the statement is false. India is the 3rd largest emitter by aggregate. So statement number 1 is wrong. So option A and D goes. If the world does not reach net zero emission by 2050, the temperature will rise, and it will rise above 1.5 degrees centigrade. Absolutely right. This is a big time concern the world is facing. By 2050, we have to do something. India has pledged to achieve the target of net zero emissions by 2050. The statement is false. That was 2070 and not 2050. And the answer would be 2 only. 1 and 3 statements are wrong. And why this news came in the newspaper is India commits to net zero emissions by 2070. India may need $10 trillion investment to achieve net zero emission. So net financing, net zero, we need to create measurable metrics. So all these are important news items that came in the newspaper. And let's see what are the important aspects. Indian Prime Minister grabbed the headlines in the COP26 when they said that India would achieve net zero emission. So India has said that by 2050, by 2030, it says that it will bring down the economy's carbon intensity below 45%. That is a big target. And India is planning to have increased non-fossil fuel energy to a 500 gigawatt capacity. So 500 gigawatt capacity and bringing down the carbon intensity to less than 45% by 2030 is a good thing that India is trying to do. And by 2070, India will be net zero emission. That is something that we talk about. So normally we say that developed countries create a large number of pollution, but what happens is when the developed countries create large number of pollution, the developing countries also have to be a part of the problem solving. So that is an important task to be noted. The advanced economies of the West are responsible for the global historical emission, but the responsibility lies with all the countries of the world. And according to a report says that 1.5 billion people from India, Pakistan and Bangladesh will be living in a place like Sahara Desert in 50 years, if GHG emissions continue to rise. So this is the pace of emissions continuing. Within 50 years, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh will become like Sahara Desert. Very difficult to live in this. So read more about this targets, all of this concept. So that was the last question of Crack Prelims 23. So we'll come up with more such questions. So subscribe to LearnStroke IAS. We are giving more number of questions like this. So subscribe our exclusive current affairs channel, IAS Current Affairs by LearnStroke IAS. Share it with your friends so that we can crack it together. Thank you.